Hello, everyone. I'm Alex.
And I'm Rob, and we're team Alex and Rob from 007 Road to a Million Season 2 on Amazon Prime.
And in this series, we shall be sharing with you 5 things we did in preparation to be on 007 Road to a Million Season 2. Number 1.
So we studied and rewatched Season 1 in anticipation of Season 2. Was that useful?
Nah, to be honest, not really. They obviously didn't visit the same locations in Season 2, and they didn't repeat any of the challenges from Season 1.
There were some amazing locations in Season 1 that I'd love to have visited.
Oh, yeah. Likewise, the format of the program did change somewhat in Season 2, so we just had to roll with the punches and react to whatever was thrown at us. But by the first mission, we were already expecting the unexpected, rather than trying to predict what was going to happen.
Thankfully, we've watched loads of other competitive reality TV shows, and we're kind of aware of the different challenges and so on that
the different elements that they could use, they could throw at us.
So that was kind of useful.
Yeah. Number 2. We watched every single film from the entire James Bond collection at least twice, some of them 3 times, and we read up on all the iconic locations featured in each and every single one of those 25 films. But was it useful?
Well, yes. We visited some really, really iconic locations like the Tower in Bangkok, the Sinsatron Tower, the Prater Park in Vienna, and of course Mexico City. And knowing what the stories were behind those locations, I think was really useful.
And recognizing some of these iconic locations when we actually got there with all that information in mind gave us a good idea of what to anticipate. But please bear in mind the fact that there are 25 films in the official James Bond anthology. And so we actually learned about so many locations from so many different films that weren't at all relevant to what we had to deal with in Road to a Million Season 2.
Yeah, but it's like any exam. You study a very big curriculum, and the exam only touches on really small parts of that.
I did manage to remember the names of some of the locations in Mexico City, such as Teatro Fru Fru, and that proved to be incredibly useful to our teams at that point. But then again, 25 films. Let me compare it to studying 25 Shakespeare plays for an English literature exam, not knowing which one you would be tested on. Now, there's only so much information your brain can realistically hold on to for an exam like that. And of course, it's not even an open book exam. It's not like I could just take out my phone mid-task and start Googling the details. We did not have access to our phones or the internet throughout the entire process.
Yeah, but it was fun to go through and watch those movies again. We're both Bond fans.
We're huge Bond fans.
It was a lot of fun to watch it all again.
Oh yeah, totally. Number 3. I did a crash course in many languages in preparation for a possible scenario where we had to interact with the locals.
Was it useful? This is totally on you.
To be honest, not at all. No. You would have heard me struggling on in Thai in Bangkok, but I never ever claimed to be able to speak Thai. I did a crash course in Thai when I knew that we were going to go on Road to a Million Season 2. But at the same time, I was also studying loads of other languages like Hindi, Japanese, Korean, Arabic, Vietnamese, Turkish, and this was all based on the possible locations that we could have visited in Season 2. So on top of studying all the Bond films, I was studying like 7 languages at the same time that I didn't already speak. So sometimes we got lucky. I already speak German quite well, and that was just a happy coincidence that we got sent to a German-speaking country when we landed in Vienna, in Austria. The same thing happened with Mexico. I'm also totally fluent in Spanish as well.
And places like the Bahamas, they're totally English speaking anyway.
So, with learning Thai, for example, now that really didn't give us any kind of advantage since it was impossible to master more than just the basics in Thai when I was simultaneously trying to learn so many other languages. And the languages that did come in rather useful, like German and Spanish, well, I've already learned them many, many years ago. Number 4, we started doing loads of puzzles every day.
Was it useful?
Sort of. We realized from watching season 1 that there was definitely an element of solving loads of puzzles as part of the process, and we definitely encountered a lot of that in season 2.
And whilst every puzzle's unique and different, having done loads of them in the past does give you the confidence that the next one you see, if you just keep on looking at it, you will get it.
Some of the puzzles were easier than others, and often it depended on us staying calm under pressure.
Yeah. Number 5, we worked really hard to get fitter. Was that useful?
Oh, yes, definitely. Most missions were very, very physical. You could see that when I first started climbing up that antenna in Bangkok, I was so enthusiastic, I was cheering myself on, and by the time I got to the very top, I was already exhausted and I still had to solve the puzzle there with Rob. And in Vienna, there was so much running around Prater Park. It was a really, really huge place. And the more time we could save running from one location to the other, the more time we had left on the clock in order to defuse the bomb before it went kaboom.
Mind you, you were spared Mexico City and the running around that Dylan and I had to do in the Day of the Dead parade. That was a very large number of kilometres and all running. And then in the Bahamas, there was so much swimming involved. And swimming back to the shore was insane.
Oh, yeah.
We really would have been struggling if we hadn't already been in good physical shape.
Yeah. So we do a lot to stay fit anyway. Rob swims a lot, practically every day. And I train gymnastics still about 5 times a week. So, which one of these 5 things did you find most useful?
Probably the last one, being physically fit.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the most obvious aspect to prepare for. And the missions are already really, really difficult. And we wouldn't want our lack of fitness and just being out of breath and your brain not working right to hold you back when you've been racing against the clock.
Totally. Everything else we encountered was admittedly a bit random. And we had no idea what we would be tested on, but we knew that there would always be a physical element to most missions.
Yeah, totally. That was so true. But in hindsight, what would have been something else that we could have done?
Not really. I think psychologically it was good to do some preparation just to feel ready. At least we were showing up at the starting line feeling like we had done so much preparation.
Yeah, whether or not the preparation is actually useful or not is a moot point. It just gives you that feeling of confidence that you're ready for this. And I'd have been so much more nervous if we hadn't done anything in preparation. So how did you find the time to do all of that preparation?
Well, we're both self-employed. We run our own companies and businesses, so we're only accountable to ourselves. I run my own corporate finance consultancy, so I get to pick and choose which projects I want to work on.
Yeah, so we spent the last half of 2024 kind of clearing the decks to making sure that we could do this almost as a full-time job. And then at the end of filming each mission, an episode, we kind of went back to hold things together. But we're really lucky to have been able to have done that.
So, if you haven't already, do check out 007 Road to a Million Season 2 on Amazon Prime.